Alright, so this video is to help us simplify rational expressions. In this case, we are subtracting. So rational is just another word for fraction. Notice that we pretty much are subtracting two fractions here. To make that happen, we have to have the same denominator. So notice we don't. We have a 3 and a 12x minus 8. To get the same denominator, we have to find the least common denominator, or the LCD, also known as the least common multiple. To make sure we have it, we have to first check and see if we're in factored form. Now 3 is a prime number, I can't factor that any further, but this binomial here does have a GCF of 4. So if I factor out a 4 from 12x minus 8, it's the same thing as dividing by 4, so I'll get 3x minus 2 in parentheses. So using the factored forms of our denominator, we can find the least exponent or least power of each factor that will form our least common denominator. Now notice none of our factors have anything in common. We've got 3, 4, and 3x minus 2. So to form that least common denominator, we're going to have to take each one of these, which all have an individual power of 1, and multiply them together to get the least common denominator. 3 times 4 will give us the 12, and we're going to go ahead and keep it factored in that 3x minus 2. So this is the denominator we need for both of these fractions to be able to subtract. So once you've identified the least common denominator, you need to find out what's missing. So we already have a 3 here. We know that 3 times 4 will give us the 12, and we are missing the 3x minus 2. So to get that in the denominator, we've got 4, 3x minus 2. To let this be a legal maneuver or mathematically accurate, we have to not change the quantity of 7 over 3. To make that happen, whenever I multiply the denominator, I have to multiply to the numerator. So I'm also going to do that 4, 3x minus 2. And what I'm essentially doing is multiplying 7 over 3 by 1, because anything divided by itself is just 1. So this one, once I've multiplied, will give me the least common denominator. Let's see what's missing for this one. For this one, we have a 4, 3x minus 2, so to get to 12, we have to multiply by 3. And again, whatever we do to the denominator, we have to multiply it to the numerator so that we're really just multiplying by 1, because anything multiplied by 1 is just itself. So let's see where we're at right now. At this stage, I would recommend distributing in what you can in the numerators. So I'm going to go ahead and do the 7 times 4 and get 28, 3x minus 2. I'm still subtracting, minus the 8 times 3 gave us 24. And this whole thing is over that new least common denominator. And I'm just going to leave it how we had it in the factored form. 12, 3x minus 2. Now we're not quite simplified. We have to go a little further here. Notice that we can distribute to get rid of these parentheses. 28 times 3 will give us 84, so we've got an 84x. 28 times a negative 2 will give us negative 56 minus 24 all over 12 times 3x minus 2. We're almost there. Let's combine our like terms. So we have an 84x minus negative 56 minus 24 is a negative 80. Let's leave this factored, and you'll see it here in just a moment why we're doing that. So we are not fully simplified. Always, 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 when we get to this step, we want to see if there's any common factors between the numerator and denominator. Now notice our numerator is no longer in a factored form. If you notice, 84 and 80 have a GCF of 4 that can be factored out. If we factor out that 4, we're going to end up with 21x minus 20 left in parentheses. We've still got that same denominator of 12 times 3x minus 2. And notice what we can do here. 4 over 12 will simplify to 1/3. So there'll be an invisible 1 up front. 1 times the 28x minus 20. We've just got 21x minus 20 over that 12 is going to turn into the 3. 3x minus 2. I hope this helps.